I trained in classical singing and Kathak for 6 years. But like every other parent in India, I was told that these are just hobbies and these are not going to get you jobs that pay your bills. So then I went to college and I saw even more students suppressing their creative desires. Then in 2011, I came across this concept of crowdfunding. Now, these people who fund these creative ideas are not investors. They are people who get an opportunity to back creative ideas and become patrons of these ideas. So in 2012, I started Wishberry, India's first crowdfunding platform with my co-founder Priyanka. So I'm a literature graduate trying to run a technology company without any knowledge of MBA or coding. I used to fail in maths and science all the time. And I used to study Dickens, Homer, Milton, Ismat Chugtai, and Manto. And I really was passionate about music and dance. I trained in classical singing and Kathak for 6 years. But like every other parent in India, I was told that these are just hobbies and these are not going to get you jobs that pay your bills. So then I went to college, and I saw even more students suppressing their creative desires. They were all studying science and commerce and engineering, but during the weekends, they would transform into artists. Some were doing theater on the streets, some were running music bands and dance troupes, some were even doing cool science projects. But towards the end of college, everything stopped, and everyone was just running towards coaching institutes to prepare for MBA. This really angered me. I thought, why aren't people doing what they want to do? I mean, even I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. But I didn't have a solution. But I did know that the problem was that there was lack of money and social validation that stopped people from pursuing creative ideas. Then in 2011, I came across this concept of crowdfunding. Now, these people who fund these creative ideas are not investors. They are people who get an opportunity to back creative ideas and become patrons of these ideas. So in return, they do not get any monetary benefits, but they get exclusive first access or an opportunity to collaborate with these creators. So for example, say you funded a film. You would get probably producer credits or maybe a special screening at your own house. If you funded a comic book, then maybe the artist can name a comic character after you in the book. So these are these small, crazy rewards that people would get just as a way to say thank you. Now, I saw crowdfunding as a way to solve this problem, especially for independent artists in India. Because filmmakers, musicians, theater artists in India do not get the support of a lot of studios or investors to fund their ideas. But with crowdfunding, they could not only raise money, but also create a community around their ideas to support them in their creative ambitions, even for life. Crowdfunding had become a very, very famous concept in the US by 2012, but nobody in India was doing that. So in 2012, I started Wishberry, India's first crowdfunding platform with my co-founder Priyanka. We also have a very romantic start. I left a US job opportunity and joined a complete stranger to do this business. And there's a joke in the office that I crossed an ocean to be with a girl. So when we started out, absolutely no one believed that Indians would fund arts and culture without expecting anything monetary. But what's interesting is that India had already seen its first crowdfunded project back in 1976. Manthan. This was a film by Shyam Benegal. It's a film on the milk cooperative movement in India. And 5 lakh farmers gave 2 rupees each to make this film. If you see on the poster, it's written 5 lakh farmers of Gujarat present Manthan. This is crowdfunding. Wishberry has been a platform for some of the most remarkable projects that India has seen so far. So let's see what crowdfunding gave to India in 2015. Punyakoti. This is going to be India's first animated film in Sanskrit. What is interesting is the maker of this film is not a trained filmmaker. He's actually the head of HR in Infosys as we speak. He raised 41 lakhs from 282 backers. Some of them are sitting in the audience today. Lovability. This is not only India's, but the world's first matchmaking mobile application for the differently abled. This is an idea by a bunch of 21-year-olds. They raised 6 lakhs from 143 backers. Menstrupedia, India's first comic book on menstruation. There were 2 NID graduates who wanted to bust the myths around menstruation and went ahead and made a comic book about it. And several investors rejected it, thought it was a taboo topic, nobody's going to buy it. And then they went on Wishberry. They raised 6 lakhs from 200 backers. And then P&G took notice, and now they've gone global. They're available in many languages. Gunga Pehlwan. This is a documentary film about a deaf wrestler who's got India many gold medals, but nobody knows about him. This film was also made not by filmmakers, but 3 MBA graduates. And this film won the National Award for Best Documentary in 2015. So since 3 years of Wishberry, 250 projects have been able to raise about 5 to 6 crores from 11,000 backers. And what is interesting is 70% of this money has come from within India. The average funding amount that people give on Wishberry is rupees 6,000. So no, Americans aren't the only ones who care about arts and culture. Even we do. I still get a lot of perplexed glances. First, people didn't believe that crowdfunding would work in India, and now they don't believe that crowdfunding is working in India. So I asked a lot of backers, why are you funding these projects? So I backed Lovability because I loved the idea. I funded Gunga Pehlwan because I wanted everyone to know about the wrestler. I backed Punyakoti because it will be a great way for children to learn about an ancient language. And I funded a musician because I just thought she deserved a shot. What all of them are saying, essentially, is just one simple thing. I loved the idea, and I wanted to make it happen. So one thing was very clear in 3 years of running Wishberry, that giving in India was not a problem. The problem was actually asking. When we started working with all of these wonderful people with wonderful ideas, we realized that they were so underconfident. They just couldn't pitch their projects very well. And why wouldn't they be? All through their lives, their passion has been called extracurricular. So we thought that we'll run a do-it-yourself platform like the global models across the world, and people will just come, start their projects, raise money, and everyone will be happy, but that didn't happen. We very soon realized in our early years that our responsibility was more than just giving them a fundraising platform. We had to nurture them. We had to empower artists. We had to make them feel proud of their projects. So we started coaching for them, wherein for 30 days, they get to learn about PR, about marketing, about pitching well, and then they go and raise funds. And it is because of this hand-holding, Wishberry is at an 80% success rate, which is higher than any other platform in the world. So I dream of a future where India is not just known for its amazing engineers, but also for its great artists. And I hope crowdfunding can bring all of the creative entrepreneurs out of their closets, even me. I know my co-founder and I will not rest until a crowdfunded Indian film gets an Oscar, unless a crowdfunded Indian musician gets a Grammy, or we all can just crowdfund the next rover to the moon. And as I part now, I want to make a promise to myself, with testimony as all of you, that I will also come out of the closet. The next time I'm on a stage like this, I will not be talking, I will be singing. Thank you.